Welcome back to another wrap up, guys. The year is flying by. Currently in the middle of Oathbound by Tracy Dion, and I'm really hoping that I can finish that before May begins. But if I don't, then I will have read 8 books and 1 short story this month, which is a new personal record, and I'm so happy about it. The first book that I finished in April was Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. We all know what Harry Potter is. If you don't know what Harry Potter is, go check out my last 2 or 3 wrap-up videos, and I explain it there. But I'm sure you all know what Harry Potter is. I am pretty disappointed. Well, that's putting it lightly, to be honest, with J.K. Rowling. It's really disappointing that my favorite series of all time is just kind of like tainted now because of her. I'm not going to go into like great detail about the series because of that, but I really enjoyed this one. It was my favorite one of the series so far, I think. These are childhood favorites, so as I've said before, it's really hard for me to put a rating on these because I love them all so much, but I did give this a 5 stars, which is the first 5 stars that I've given in the series. But take that with a grain of salt because it's so hard for me to rate these. So hopefully soon I will be finishing up the last of the Harry Potter series, and then I probably won't be talking about it ever again on my channel. So I hate it. Next, for my reading short books vlog, I read Pizza Girl by Jean Keyoung Fraser. In this, we're following an 18-year-old girl. She is pregnant with her high school sweetheart's baby. She is working at a pizza place, and she's feeling the word that comes to mind is like neutral about her life, but she doesn't really feel happy and she doesn't really feel sad or depressed at all. It's almost like she really could just care less about her life. She ends up delivering this pizza with pickles on it to this mom and this little boy because the little boy will not eat anything else, and our main character becomes obsessed with this mom. She's just constantly thinking about this mom. We also kind of see her not work through, but just kind of like come to terms with the grief of her father passing, but it's very complicated grief because he wasn't that great of a guy either. It is definitely like a weird girl book. It's pretty slow. The ending does pick up a bit as her obsession with this mom grows. I feel like I normally am into like weird girl books, but I ended up giving this one a 3 stars. A 3 stars to me is like, I didn't personally love it, but I can see why other people would love it. I don't think that there's anyone in like my personal life that I would ever recommend this to. I don't see anybody that I know liking this. It would be a very, very specific recommendation if I did recommend it to somebody. Then I read Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. In this, we're following Emma and Justin. I was getting it mixed up with yours truly. Emma is a traveling nurse, so she goes all around the country and working at different hospitals, and Justin is having kind of a rough time because his mother is actually going to jail and he needs to take over custody of all of his brothers and sisters. They find each other on Reddit because Jacob posts a story about how every time he dates somebody, they end up breaking up, and then the person that he was dating ends up finding the love of their life. And it's happened a few times for him, and this has also happened to Emma, and she ends up commenting and she starts messaging with him, and she ends up going to the hospital that is closest to him, which is Rayum Northwestern, if you have read the series. And they have a just for the summer romance to see if they can date and then break up and then find the love of their lives after. I gave this a 5 stars. I can't believe it, guys. I actually gave a romance a 5 stars. That has never happened in the history of Emma before, but here we are. I don't have anything negative to say about it. I honestly don't, and I've sat on it too. I love this book so much, and I feel like everyone else does too. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say anything bad about this book, to be honest. The characters just feel so real, like they have real life problems, and they connect in such a way that feels realistic. They really help each other like grow into themselves. They're open and honest, and they have lots of trauma, both of them, and they kind of connect on that, and they're able to help each other out. Absolutely love this one, guys. Abby Jimenez is still just my top romance author with Emily Henry right underneath her. I've yet to pick up an Abby Jimenez book that's under 4 stars for me. So again, for my short book vlog, I picked up Night by Elie Wiesel. This is a memoir. This follows obviously Elie Wiesel in the 1940s as he and his family are taken off to concentration camps. This is very graphic, a very difficult read. I think it's a very important read, but at the same time, it is very triggering. And if you can't stomach everything that concentration camps are, everything that happens at concentration camps, if you can't stomach that, I don't suggest reading this, but it is a very important read, especially during the times that we are in. I don't rate memoirs because it just feels funny to put a rating on somebody's life, but the writing was very straightforward and easy to read, not so easy to get through just because of the content, but that's a little bit obvious. Then I read Sula by Toni Morrison. This is a historical fiction. We are following 2 Black girls who grow up in like the Black side of town. This is mostly in the 1920s, and then at the end it goes into the 1960s. So we're kind of just watching the day-to-day life of these girls growing up together, but also different people in the town. We're just kind of seeing their friendship blossom and how they've really just come to be kind of like one unit. And then one of them ends up moving away, comes back later on and kind of shakes up the town because she has gone to live in the city and things are a lot different there, and she really just has a different outlook on life and just really shakes up this small town. A lot of people do not really like her and almost think that she's like a witch or she's like the devil or whatever. And the friends meet up again, but some things end up happening and they have a big falling out. And so it's kind of like their journey through friendship and the falling out and then kind of like a reconciliation at the end. I loved this book, you guys. I really did love this book. I ended up giving it a 4 stars. It was a more difficult read for me to get through. It was slower. The language was very true to the time, which I appreciated so much, but it did make it a little bit like slower of a read for me, even though it was only like 250 pages. It just takes my brain a little bit longer when the language is like different, you know what I mean? But I loved this. Highly suggest it. The ending made me cry. This is for all of the feminists out there. Truly just, yeah. Loved it. I can't recommend this enough. And the last thing that I read for my short book vlog is The Answer Is No by Frederick Bachman, which is actually a short story. It's only 68 pages long and it's on Kindle Unlimited if you're interested. And I rated this a 5 stars because why wouldn't I? It's Frederick Bachman. Absolutely loved this. I don't know how Frederick Bachman does it. In this, we're following a man who is an introvert and he just wants to stay in his apartment and play his new video game, but he lives in an apartment complex and people keep interrupting his game, and just a very silly, nonsensical thing happens to this apartment complex and he kind of gets like thrown into this, and somehow he is like made to be like the main person to solve what is happening. And it's just so silly. It's silly, goofy, but oh my gosh, how on earth did Frederick Bachman actually make me cry? Like, this is basically satire, but somehow in the end, it just wraps up so beautifully. And the characters learn such big life lessons. Like, I can't stop smiling. It's so good and it's so short. You can read this in like an hour, you guys. I did read it in an hour, actually. Highly, highly, highly recommend this one. And why not pick it up since it's just such a short read? It's so silly and so heartwarming all at the same time. So good. Next up, I read All the Missing Girls by Megan Miranda. This is following a woman who lived in a small town growing up, and she left. She goes to college in more of like an urban city area, but she is called back to her hometown because her father has Alzheimer's and it's getting getting worse and worse, and they need to sell the family house and help her dad. But we quickly find out that her and her friends and her brother were kind of suspects in the murder of one of her best friends. When she gets home, another girl has gone missing, and so her friend's murder is kind of dug back up, and the investigation is starting up again because they think it might be the same person who killed both of these girls. So everything slowly starts to come to light, and we're just kind of questioning, obviously, throughout the book who did it, and everyone kind of seems suspicious. I ended up giving this a 3.25 stars. This was a very interesting way to write a book because she did it backwards. So she had our main character returning home, and then from there on, she started the chapter like 15 days since blah blah got home. And from there, it went down to 14, 13, 12, 11, obviously. It did give it the feeling of like confusion, but there's a difference between like a thriller, like a confusing thriller that you just like can't figure out what's going to happen, and like it actually being confusing to read and really not even being able to put like the smallest details together at all. That's kind of what it felt like. There was a lot of suspense, which I enjoyed. I did not guess who was going to be the killer, but even now as I think about it, I can't even remember the story. Like I don't even know. I didn't even know what I was reading, you guys. I was just kind of waiting to figure out who the killer was because everyone seemed suspicious, but I couldn't actually tell you like what happens. I don't even know the characters' names. So I put this at a 3.25, but now I'm like, is it a 3? I think it might be a 3. I couldn't get into it. I don't know. It was just too confusing for me. I just realized I had a small stack of books here that I was gonna hold up and show you, but I'm just gonna overlay. I'm too lazy right now. Next on my list, I read Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. This is the second prequel to the Hunger Games series, if you didn't know. In this, we're following Haymitch, who is a side character in the Hunger Games series, again, if you didn't know. In this, we are just following Haymitch's Hunger Games, essentially, and kind of just like what made him into the type of man that he is in the Hunger Games series. I ended up giving this a 4.25 stars. I was really hoping that I would rate it higher than that. 4.25 in my books is a very good rating, to be honest, but I was hoping it would be like pushing 5 stars for me. I really love Haymitch as a character. It was really interesting and enlightening to see his games and to kind of see a little bit of his backstory in District 12 as a teenager. I thought everything was done really well, but at the same time, I do feel like something was missing here. I was hoping that I would get like the same vibes as The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. That one was really high up on my list. I initially rated that one a 5 stars when I first read it, and I think I brought it down to like a 4.75 or a 4.5 upon further thinking, but I loved that one so much. And not that I didn't love Sunrise on the Reaping, because I did, but there just wasn't enough. I just wish it lacked depth a little bit, I think. And I was reading Goodreads reviews too, and I was kind of agreeing with this one that was saying like they wish that like Haymitch was like a little bit more badass in the games than he was. But yeah, I can't exactly pinpoint what it is. I think I just wish we got like more of his life in District 12 and like more of his romance. I did make a mini vlog of reading this one on TikTok, so if you're interested in that, go check it out. But on TikTok, I also said that I really felt like in the other books and movies that Haymitch and Effie had like something going on, like possibly romantically or like some sort of like deeper connection. And in this book, Effie does help him out at the end a lot, and she's there, but I just wish we had more of that. I wish that there was more of a strong connection between Haymitch and Effie, because I feel like it was really alluded to in past books and movies. That was a little disappointing also, but 4.25 is such such a good rating. I really enjoyed it. I always love just being back in the Hunger Games world. The last book that I've read in April is James by Percival Everett. This is a Huckleberry Finn retelling, and we are in the perspective of Jim, the slave that is in Huckleberry Finn. I read Huckleberry Finn a long time ago, and I don't remember at all the storyline, so I can't remember if it follows like the exact same storyline as Huckleberry Finn. Yeah, I just don't know like how much they correlate, but I loved this. I gave this a 4.5 stars. This was a story that needed to be told. I'm so glad that I picked this up. It was very, very enlightening and also like heartwarming at the same time and horrific. Obviously. I love Jim as a character. The writing style was also so good. Like it was very fast paced. You would think that a book like this or like a retelling of like a classic would be like a little bit slower, but no. The pacing of this was like actually perfect. I don't think there was any time where I was bored. There was always something going on. I thought that Jim and Huck Finn's relationship was really cute, and I loved all of the side character. I mean, not loved. Didn't love all of them, but like I really enjoyed reading about all of the side characters, and the ending was such a bang. Absolutely freaking loved the ending of this. I did not know what to expect from the ending of this. Loved it so much. Chef's kiss. I also listened to this on audio, and it is such a good audiobook. The narrator is amazing, so I highly suggest the audiobook for this one. That is everything that I read in April. I can't believe how much I read. I'm so proud of myself, honestly. Let me know down below what you read in April and what your favorite book of the month was. I would also love to know if you guys have read any of these books that I just talked about. What are your thoughts and feelings? Check my link down below if you want to check out my TikTok account. I post mostly on TikTok and YouTube. My Instagram is also down there, but I don't post as frequently. But until next time, guys, bye!